Welcome to another review by Bellows Blades. Today we're going to be looking at the QSP Penguin. So this is a knife that I've had my eye on for a while. They're just really popular in the knife world, in the budget entry knife category. A lot of people are familiar with these knives, and I've had my eye on one for a while. This one's actually not mine. I do plan on picking one up here sometime shortly, but I wanted to go ahead and get a review out there for this thing. So these knives basically run in the like $30 to $40 range. I think you can pick some models up right now for as low as $32. This model right now is running right around $38. The reason this one's a little more expensive is because of the handle. It has the shredded carbon fiber handle, which is actually just an overlay over top of G10 scale. So it's actually G10 with just a small shredded carbon fiber overlay, but it gives that a little bit of extra visual appeal. And because of the carbon fiber, I think it just runs a little bit more than the plain G10 or micarta handled versions. Most of the versions, they do have different steels, but most of them do come like this one does in D2. This is a 3¼ inch D2 steel blade. It is a sheepsfoot style blade, which is becoming more and more common and popular among modern knives. And so, which is kind of funny because I remember as a kid, my grandfather having old kind of either lockback or slip joint knives that have multiple blades on them. And one of the blades they always had was the sheepsfoot style, was really common and popular among farmers and ranchers having that style blade. My grandfather did both. And so, that's kind of, to me, it seems like a very old style blade, which I think it is, but it's kind of been coming back around and gaining some more of a following here in recent years. So anyway, the nice thing about this style blade is you got this nice straight blade, which makes it very easy to sharpen. You don't have really any curve in that blade. And then it really allows you to do good draw cuts, just the style blade that it is. You can really get that point in there and make contact and pull across to get a good scoring cut if you need to. So there are benefits to this style blade, but again, this is a 3¼ inch D2 style blade. So 3¼ inches is a little shorter than most of the knives that I personally carry. I prefer something more like the 3½ to even 4-inch blade. But this still feels like it's substantial enough to be able to do what you need it to do in an everyday carry capacity. This, as I mentioned, does have the G10 handle scales, carbon fiber overlay. It's got full stainless steel liners. It is a liner lock, which is the style of lock that's on this knife. Very common for the budget entry category. Overall, the length of this knife is 7 inches. So just to kind of compare it to other knives that people are familiar with, if you look here, we've got a Paramilitary 2. It's quite a bit shorter than that. And then also the Benchmade Griptilian. Both of those are more what I would consider a normal everyday carry for myself. Of course, everybody has their own preference. You might prefer a slightly smaller knife, in which case the QSP Penguin would be exactly that for you. I do think that this is a good everyday carry knife. It's just good quality build. It opens well, it has pretty smooth action. It's not really a fidgety knife. You can see it's not going to just drop shut easily, but whenever you actually are opening it from a closed position, it does snap out pretty easily with those thumb studs. You've got them, of course, left or right, and you can switch this deep carry pocket clip for left or right hand carry, but not tip up, tip down. You can only carry it in the tip up position. So that's just something to be aware of if you prefer tip down. Basically, guys, this thing runs at 3.52 ounces, so it's a pretty light knife, especially, compared to some other knives that you might be used to carrying. It's fairly light, but again, it is a little smaller than the ones that I usually carry, so that could be part of it as well. You're missing, some of the weight of a longer blade. Overall, guys, my impression of this knife is that this is a great starter knife. So if you're looking at a budget category knife, entry level, and looking to get something in D2 steel, which is a great steel, holds a good edge, but also is not going to run the price way up on the knife for you, then this really is not a bad way to go. So you can see here we've got that. I'm holding it the wrong way here. Let's see if I can get that in the frame. I'm struggling there. Maybe there it is, D2. So you can see the D2 steel there. And then, of course, the only other marking that you've really got on the blade is just the QSP logo there. So I don't know if you can see it real well or not, but there it is. So it's got a plain blade, not overly marked up. I do like that. It's got decent steel with the D2 in it. It's got a nice razor sharp edge out of the box. It's got that sheepsfoot style blade. So I think as far as a utilitarian style knife, this thing is going to do really well for you. One other thing that you might notice that really I don't ever use, but it's there, you do have kind of a lanyard hole here if that's something that you would be interested in. So guys, I just think that if you're looking for a knife to start out with and you're looking at something right around that, you know, $35 range or so, like I said, this model goes for $38 right now. You can pick some models up for as low as $32. This definitely should be in your top 3, I think, as far as what you're looking at. I think, you know, your Ontario Rat 1 is another option that you would want to look at as well. If you're looking for more, you know, name recognition, something sticking like that. Of course, you can always look at some of the Sativians that I have on the channel. Those knives you can pick up for as low as $20, and they are D2 steel, and they actually are decent build quality, decent blade, edge retention, and all that. But again, you know, I mean, you are looking at a slightly less well-known Chinese brand at that. But guys, I mean, these things have been out there in the knife world. People use them. People love them. There's enough information out there on the internet that you can just see that these knives are well respected, and I think that's for good reason. A little bit that I've had here, just time with this one, you know, I'm impressed enough that it has not changed my mind. I still want to pick one up. I think that it's worth having one of these in your rotation. So guys, sound off, let me know what you think about the QSP Penguin, if you carry one, what your thoughts are, and as always, if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Thanks guys.